Evening all, welcome back to Total Dust, and this is probably my favourite match. Favorite match. You love this one more than anything. We're using the float like a butterfly, sting like a bee fit. This is it's a really good fit. It's so weak though. It's just like fighting in a damp cloth. And it's just really always at the risk of being completely blown apart. But I do like it. Look at this guy, cannot kill him. What is going on there? I'll tell you what's going on there. This is a very poor player called CO Pyrex who can't shoot anyone because he's a noob. Anyway, let's talk about the game. Been reading a few of the forum posts, and my god, it's not easy, is it? I mean, I don't know if you read the forums, but just like, some of the posts are really interesting, articulate, and kind of created with a bit of thought. And then there's like the other 100 that basically are just there. I don't know why people get so kind of funny about it, really. I don't know. A lot of people are obviously upset that the game's going. I get that. I'm not mocking that. That's, you know, that is a sad time. And if you don't have a PC, and if you don't even plan on having a PC, then I understand you. That's not a nice thing. But what's got me is I think just how many people are just kind of, I don't know, not really getting the point that the reality is the game is going to transfer your name. That's already been confirmed. So there is going to be some kind of transfer of your identity. I don't know what the exact words were, but it was pretty clearly stating that, you know, your name, if you like, will basically be transferred. Because and I don't know what the particulars of that will be. A lot of people talking about, well, what am I going to get? Am I going to have my SP? Am I going to have my skills? Am I going to have my BPOs? And I think the answer is probably going to be no, but I don't know. I have no inside information. I'm just thinking what would make sense would be not. Now, I had a thought. Let me share my thought with you through your ears right now, which was that you should have some little mark. Now, if you imagine you're going to have kind of like drop suits in the future in EVE and blah, 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 and it should be something kind of like, yeah, they all look almost identical, but when you look closely, you'll see that one suit has got like a little orange and red stripe on the helmet. Very subtle. And what that basically would tell you, so you'll be sat in a dropship or a, you know, an LAV or whatever, an MAV maybe, and you're sat opposite a dude and you're both looking at each other, and then you realise you've both got that little identifying stripe, and you'll both kind of like give each other that nod, be like, yeah, we were there, man, we were there, we're vets. Now, all of the rest of the squad don't have that, but it looks so similar, and it's such a small... And I think about it, I know a lot of people are saying they want like a full skin or something, but think about it, if it's really small and subtle, that speaks volumes, and that would make people really notice it. Do you know what I mean? I think it's that kind of thing where you say, well, you can paint everybody pink if they played the game before, or you can have it so that there's some little, just kind of like a star next to their name or something subtle. And people would be like, that, you know, speaks volumes. It really does speak volumes. So I think if they just did that, I'd be more than happy with that. And you know, I don't even think we need recognition. It's more just a thing to say, we have been here from the start, and we, you know, you closed the game that we played, and we're still playing this new game that you've created. So therefore, thank you for giving us a nod. So it's not as if they shouldn't do anything. They certainly should give some form of nod to that player base, and I think it's only fair that you do. Look at that fail melee. Look at that fail melee. What was that about? So I do think that there has to be this kind of, you know, future of the game, which is going to be a little bit kind of like a bit, you know, hopefully, well, actually quite a bit more different than it is now. And I think it's a shame, because I would say I've had such a blast playing this game, but I don't want people to think that it's all over. I know that's quite a strange thing to say, but it kind of isn't. You know, the game is actually evolving, and people are choosing to step off. The game's not dying, it's evolving into something different, it's morphing. And therefore, you know, it kind of gets me annoyed when people use the wrong terminology with it and say, game's dead, game's dying. It's like, well, that's not technically true. The game is evolving into something else, and you're choosing not to be on it. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I think that's a key differentiator that I just wanted to make, because I'm a dick, and I just had to make that point. And I think that is going to be a kind of key test, is how many people will come, how many people won't. I don't think CCP have got too much to worry about for those that leave, because there is such a big community in EVE who are going to pick up this game because it's on PC, and you know, a lot of people in EVE would be quite happy to play an EVE-based FPS shooter. That was a hell of a shot, by the way. I must just call that out. That was a hell of a shot with a forge gun against a scout suit. Very nice play, sir. But I think a lot of people will, pick up this game and they'll play something quite, hopefully fun and linked to Eve and, innovative and interesting in many ways. So for me, I think there's going to be a large uptake of this game. And then it's up to CCP to keep it taken up, if that's the right term, because it really is up to them at that point to then create a more compelling game that keeps people playing. PC was a good way to do that. Now, I don't think they should carry on the PC concept. They should evolve it. It should be a little bit more developed, if that makes sense. I think PC was a little bit kind of two-dimensional. After a while, it was difficult to see what the point of PC was, but just a little bit more kind of involvement in infrastructure and things like that. That could have been quite interesting. I think people might have been a bit more, excited and interested to kind of play PC when it was just there's more reason to do it. There's more things to get from it. There's more different kind of ways to do it. And for me, I think PC should be this evolution into maybe some form of boarding action, that you take a ship or a station. I mean, that would be nice if PC moved from being districts to being a stationary object that it also exists in Eve. That would be pretty sweet. So you could do orbitals from outside the station, that kind of thing. I'd like that. That'd be pretty sweet. I do think they've got to get off the planet. Keeping it on a planet was always a bit stupid. By the way, have you noticed my flare lock and plasma doesn't work on those buildings? Did you ever notice that? Yeah, I found that out the hard way. It just doesn't work. Unless you get a direct shot, it just doesn't work. So we go. Post in the comments, tell me what you're thinking. I honestly would say that I'm excited. I am actually pretty excited. I'm jealous. I'm well gel, and I'm not going to FanFest this year because I actually kind of want to see what the game becomes. It's ironic. The 1 year we do go, and we go when nothing really said about Dust. In fact, we probably ended up in the restaurants and bars more than we did the conference hall last year. I know you probably don't get that from the video we created, because we made it look like we were really, really interested and psyched to be there. But I must admit, we weren't that bothered. We really weren't. The nice thing about it was we got to see the Northern Lights, and plus the only reason we actually went was the eclipse, to be honest, because it was a full eclipse. So I think, and it was a bit disappointing, the eclipse, because even at 3% sunlight, it still looked like day at dusk. It wasn't that impressive, to be honest. But there we go. There we go. I am kind of curious to know who's going to FanFest, by the way, because I may have some missions for you. So post in the comments if you're going, and I shall PM you. Only because I'm just curious to see what is presented. I'm going to be watching the live stream anyway. But yeah, it's sad times, brah. I think there's not a lot really anyone can do now. We're kind of back to the open beta, or the closed beta rather, where we're kind of just sat there watching the game that's being created. I am curious to see what they produce. I hope it's going to be something quite new, different, innovative. Maybe just a little bit more kind of modern technology. So you look at this here, this is like low-res gaming right now. I mean, you could almost convince yourself you're playing an old Atari ST game with this, because it's not necessarily in HD because of the recording, but it doesn't have any of the kind of nice things like bloom and HD effects and things like that. I think that's a shame. Plus, I tell you what I'd love to see would be a Dust Eve game in 4K. I don't know if any of you 4K game, but you should give it a try if you can, because oh my god, the difference is unbelievable. You need a hell of a graphics card, you need a hell of a monitor, but I 4K game, I 4K'ing bloody 4K. I 4K'd this is going to go bad, isn't it? I 4K'd Fallout 4, which is not the easiest thing to say. Try saying that over and over. And it was brilliant. It was amazing. It was like, oh shit, this just looks so much better than HD, which was interesting. So, I definitely would recommend, if you can, do 4K with your PCs. We are going to do something on building a PC. I know we've committed to that, but it's taking a bit longer than planned just because of work and stuff. But I will show you. So hold off. Don't buy anything yet, for God's sake. I know a lot of people have already posted guides and things. It's like, don't buy it yet. Wait until the game's announced, because if it's 6 months away, you're going to get better technology in 6 months because of price reduction. Do you know what I mean? So don't go and buy it now. For God's sake, don't go and buy it now. Unless you want to. I'm not telling you what to do, but I think just honestly consider it. If you're buying a PC just to play Eve, then hold fire. You know what I mean? Because you're just going to have a PC sat there doing nothing. So what's the point? So definitely don't do it yet. But we will show you some of the things we do. Because I mean, I've always built my own PCs. I've always built my own technology and stuff. And one of the things, interestingly, that I picked up was a lot of people don't want to play Dust at a desk. Now that's a fascinating one. I've not heard that one for a while. Let me tell you why that's not necessarily a problem, because I use something called the Steam Link. Now some of you know what that is. A Steam Link is basically a streaming box, if you like, that takes the feed from your desktop in your office or wherever, and it feeds it through to your TV in your sofa. So you actually can play games, that PC games, as if they're console games. Now you can't play everything because certain things don't work, but I will show this because I actually have a Steam controller and the Steam Link, and it works very nicely. So sometimes I can just sit there and play you know, certain games on my sofa. So I would stress, I think it is possible. I don't think it's too much of a chore. The Steam Link, by the way, just in terms of pricing, just to kind of manage your expectation, is £40. So that's probably like 55 bucks, something like that. So it's not a huge amount of money, and it's very simple to set up. You just literally plug it in and use it, and it does what it says on the tin. It's just literally you wire a connection to it, so you either use power plugs, so those power network adapters, or something similar, and you basically then have the ability to stream from your desktop to your telly. Okay, so that's it. That's the concept. It works brilliantly. I love it. I've used it for months now, and I've got to admit, I really did enjoy it. So I used to sit and play Fallout 4 from my PC in HD. I could have done 4K, but my network isn't that fast. So it is now. I probably could do it now. But anyway, and I was able to basically play Fallout 4 in 4K now. On my Steam controller, which is like a, you know, if you've never seen the Steam controller, worth a look because they're quite unusual. I like it, but a lot of people don't, so it's probably worth looking at. And that again is £40. So you know, not talking mega money here. So you know, what I basically have is a really good PC that I do all of this video nonsense on in my office, and then I can go and sit down and play games on my sofa as if it was a console. So this is why I can't warrant a PS4 or an Xbox One, because the technology to buy a Steam Link and a controller is £80, whereas those consoles are like £300 or £250. So do you see what I mean? It's kind of like when you start to look at what technologically is available to you, things are like the Steam Link do make it so that these games feel like consoles. And I guarantee you, Dust on PC will be able to be used by controller. You'll probably get owned a bit, but I tell you what, it probably won't be as bad as people are saying it will be. Maybe I'll do a video of it. There we go. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.